Chapter 1. Introduction. Why does this matter? In a world that never stops moving, have you ever wondered what it would feel like to just pause? Every day we wake up and dive straight into the noise. Endless notifications, the pressure to be productive, the need to be seen, heard, validated. It's like being in the middle of a storm and the wind never stops blowing. You check your phone before even getting out of bed, you're already behind, you're already stressed. Your mind runs faster than your feet ever will. And we've come to accept this as normal. But let me ask you something. What if this constant state of motion, this mental and emotional chaos, is exactly what's holding you back from the peace, clarity, and growth you crave? Because the truth is, your greatest transformation won't happen when you achieve more, hustle harder, or consume more information. It will happen when you learn to be still. Now, I'm not talking about laziness or inactivity. I'm talking about a deeper stillness, a quiet strength, the kind of stillness that allows you to observe your thoughts without reacting, to choose your response instead of living in autopilot, to stay grounded when everything around you seems uncertain. Stillness is not the absence of movement, it's the presence of purpose. And this episode is about how to cultivate that stillness from two powerful paths: Stoicism and spirituality. Two worlds that seem different, but when brought together, can unlock a powerful transformation inside of you. Stoicism teaches us to master the mind. Spirituality helps us connect with something deeper than the mind. One gives you the tools to navigate adversity with wisdom. The other gives you the presence to rise above it with grace. And together they help you build a life that's unshakable. So whether you're struggling with stress, anxiety, overthinking, or simply feel lost in the noise of daily life, this episode is an invitation. An invitation to step off the treadmill, to breathe, to listen inward, to find clarity not in doing more, but in being more. Because real power doesn't come from the noise. It comes from the silence you're afraid to sit with. Stick with me for the next few chapters. We're going to explore what stillness really means, where true peace comes from, and how you can use these ancient ideas, right now in your life, to unlock something extraordinary within you. Let's begin. Chapter 2. The modern mind, always on, always distracted. We live in the most connected era in human history. And yet, we feel more disconnected than ever. From ourselves, from the present moment, and from what truly matters. Let me ask you, when was the last time you sat in silence, without reaching for your phone? When was the last time you allowed yourself to be fully present in a moment? Without thinking of the next thing, we've created a world that never turns off. 24/7 access. Infinite scrolling. Constant stimulation. We wake up, and the first thing we do is reach for our phone. Check messages, notifications, emails. We jump into the mental fast lane before we've even taken a breath. And the result? Our minds are constantly occupied, but rarely at peace. We've lost the ability to be still. Scientists have studied this. The average person checks their phone over 150 times a day. We're exposed to more information in 24 hours than people 100 years ago saw in a year. Our brains are overstimulated. Always planning. Always worrying. Always comparing. And what's worse, we've started to believe that this is normal. But it's not that it's unnatural to be constantly reactive. It's unhealthy to feel anxious when we're not doing something. It's unsustainable to go through life without ever pausing to ask, what am I doing all this for? You might think, but I'm being productive. I'm building my life. I'm chasing my goals. And yes, that's important. But here's the paradox. More doesn't always mean better. And motion doesn't always mean progress. We often confuse being busy with being fulfilled. We run from task to task, from one dopamine hit to the next. And we wonder why we feel empty at the end of the day. Here's the truth. The mind is like water. When it's agitated, it becomes difficult to see. But when you let it settle, the answer becomes clear. Stillness helps us see why we avoid stillness. But here's the catch. Stillness feels uncomfortable at first. Why? Because when we stop, we're forced to face ourselves. We hear the thoughts we've been avoiding. We feel the emotions we've been suppressing. We realize how long we've been distracted from our inner world. Most people aren't afraid of silence because it's boring. They're afraid of silence because it's revealing. It reveals what we've neglected, what we're running from, what we truly need to heal. But that's where growth lives. In that space between stimulus and response. In the pause. In the breath. In the present. Long before smartphones, long before social media, the Stoics and the sages of every ancient culture understood something we've forgotten. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal over 2,000 years ago, people seek retreats for themselves in the country, by the sea, or in the mountains, But it is in your own mind that you should find retreat. That's what stillness is. It's not a luxury. It's a necessity, because if you don't know how to slow down, to think clearly, to listen inward, then your life will always be dictated by the noise around you. Now here's the good news. You can reclaim your attention. You can retrain your brain. You can rewire your habits. It begins with small moments of stillness. 30 seconds of silence in the morning before checking your phone. A walk without headphones. A conscious breath before reacting. A few lines of journaling each night. These may seem small, but they are powerful, because they do something radical in today's world. They return your mind to you. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. And when you realize this, when you create space between you and the noise, that's where freedom begins. So as we move into the next chapter, I want you to remember this. The storm isn't out there. It's in here, in your own mind. And you have the power to calm it. Let's keep going. Chapter 3. What is Stoic stillness? Let's talk about a concept that many people misunderstand. Stillness. Not just silence. Not just doing nothing. We're talking about a powerful kind of inner calm. A mental clarity that doesn't waver no matter what's happening around you. That's what the Stoics meant by stillness. And in today's chaotic world, stillness isn't just nice to have. It's revolutionary. The Stoic philosophers lived over 2,000 years ago, and yet their wisdom feels tailor-made for our times. Why? Because their world was uncertain too, filled with war, political unrest, betrayal, loss. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most well-known Stoics, was an emperor. He ruled during plagues and invasions, personal loss and constant pressure. But despite all that, he wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." This wasn't a man running from reality. This was a man facing the harshest parts of life, and still finding peace within himself. That's the essence of Stoic stillness. Peace not because everything is calm, but because you are. Some people mistake stillness for passivity, for weakness, for inaction. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Stillness is not about doing nothing. It's about doing the right thing with a clear mind. Think of a warrior before battle. Their breathing slows. Their eyes sharpen. That moment of internal stillness is what allows precise action. Stillness is what separates reaction from response. And in that space we access wisdom. In our world, stillness can mean not responding to every message instantly, not letting social media pull you into emotional drama, not rushing to fix every uncomfortable feeling with noise or distraction. It's the ability to observe your emotions without being ruled by them, to witness thoughts without identifying with them, to act from principle, not impulse. Seneca, another great Stoic, said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Stillness helps us see the difference. It keeps us grounded in truth, not fear. So how do we cultivate Stoic stillness in daily life? It's not about escaping to the mountains. It's about creating peace in the middle of life. Start small. Pause before reacting. Whether it's an argument, a notification, or bad news, just breathe. Journal your thoughts. Writing clears mental clutter and builds awareness. Practice voluntary discomfort. Fast for a morning, take a cold shower, leave your phone behind on a walk. These moments build resilience. Observe your judgments. Ask yourself, is this really good or bad? Or just my perspective? These aren't just exercises, they are mental strength training. Where Stoicism meets spirituality. Now let's add another layer. Stoicism is incredibly practical, but it's also deeply spiritual. Why? Because at its core, Stoicism teaches that there is a universal order, a divine reason that governs everything. You might call it fate, the universe, God, Tao. The Stoics called it logos, the rational, divine intelligence of the cosmos. They believed that stillness connects us to that greater intelligence, that in quieting the noise of the ego, we align with the wisdom of the universe. That's why Stoic stillness is so transformative. It doesn't just help you survive chaos, it helps you rise above it. You stop being a leaf tossed by the wind. You become the rooted tree, strong and unmoved. So next time life throws something your way, a delay, a loss, a criticism, a temptation, don't react immediately. Pause. Breathe. Remember the stillness within you. That's your power. That's your anchor. That's your clarity. The Stoics knew this. And now you do too. Let's move to the next chapter and explore how spiritual stillness elevates everything we've just uncovered. Chapter 4. Spiritual stillness, listening to the divine whisper within. Let's take a moment to go deeper. Beyond the noise of the world, Beyond even the thoughts in your mind, there is something more. A presence, a knowing, a whisper, and to hear it, you need stillness. Not just Stoic stillness for clarity or action, but spiritual stillness, a sacred quiet where something greater can speak. Have you ever sat in total silence and felt something, maybe in the early morning or staring at the stars, or even during heartbreak, when words fail but presence remains? That something isn't just imagination. It's what many call God, the universe, source, spirit, or your higher self. Spiritual stillness is where we reconnect with that it's not found in the chaos of constant doing. It's in the pause, the breath, the gap between thoughts. The Tao Te Ching says, silence is a source of great strength. Why? Because in silence, the soul speaks. Let's be honest, the world doesn't encourage stillness. It rewards productivity, reaction, speed. But your soul? It speaks in whispers, and you can't hear whispers if you're constantly shouting over them. This is why every spiritual tradition values stillness: prayer in Christianity, meditation in Buddhism, dhikr in Islam, contemplation in Stoicism, silence in Quakerism. Even the shamanic vision quest is rooted in solitude and stillness. Stillness is sacred. It's how you come home to your true self. Why we resist stillness? But if it's so important, why is it so hard? Because when we become still, we're forced to face what's inside, the truth, the pain, the buried dreams, the inner child who still seeks love. And sometimes we'd rather keep scrolling, keep working, keep talking, keep running. But spiritual stillness isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's the willingness to sit with yourself, without distractions, and say, I'm listening. Let me invite you to try something after this video. Find 5 minutes. Sit comfortably. No phone. No music. No journal. Just you. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. And don't try to empty your mind. Instead, just ask, what do I need to hear today? What part of me is asking to be seen? What is the next right step for me? Then listen. Maybe nothing comes. Maybe a word, a memory, a nudge. That's enough. This is the spiritual version of tuning your frequency. Because wisdom doesn't scream, it whispers. When you start to build a habit of spiritual stillness, you'll notice something extraordinary. You stop forcing so much. You trust more. You feel guided. Ideas come with ease. Synchronicities appear. You're not chasing, you're flowing. Why? Because you've aligned yourself with a deeper intelligence. You've moved from ego to essence. From panic to peace. From fear to faith. This is where Stoicism and spirituality truly meet. Stoicism teaches you to stay centered. Spirituality shows you what's at the center, and it's not emptiness. It's presence. It's love. It's the divine in you. In a world addicted to noise, stillness is not just healing. It's revolutionary. And when that stillness isn't just mental but spiritual, you don't just survive chaos, you transcend it. You become someone who listens deeply, who moves with grace, who trusts the timing of things, who acts not from fear, but from alignment. This is how we grow, not by adding more, but by subtracting noise until only truth remains. So take a breath, be still, and let your soul speak. Chapter 5. Merging Wisdom, Living with Purpose Through Stillness. There's a moment in every journey where reflection turns into action, where the insights you've gathered become the compass for how you live. This chapter is about living with purpose, not as a lofty idea or a buzzword, but as a quiet, powerful alignment between your inner world and the outer one. So far, we've explored limiting beliefs, identity, systems, and stillness. Now it's time to merge it all into something bigger. A life guided by purpose, shaped by wisdom, and rooted in calm. What is purpose, really? People often think purpose is a job, a mission, a passion. But what if your true purpose isn't something you do, but the energy you bring to what you do? Purpose is alignment. It's when your values, your actions, and your presence all point in the same direction. The Stoics had a word for this: eudaimonia, a life lived in accordance with virtue, reason, and your highest self. Spiritual teachings echo this. To be in purpose is to be in service, in flow, in presence. It's not about finding some perfect calling. It's about bringing purpose into everything you touch. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. This is where Stoicism merges beautifully with spirituality. You start to realize, you don't have to rush. You don't have to prove. You don't have to constantly chase. Instead, you become the kind of person who chooses. You don't just live on autopilot, you live with intention, From the food you eat, to the people you allow in your space, to the way you handle adversity, it all becomes part of your spiritual path. Too often, self-development is portrayed as productivity hacks, goal setting, or hustle culture. But without meaning, it's just movement. Real development asks deeper questions. Who am I becoming? What energy am I bringing to this moment? Is my growth helping others too? When you combine the clarity of Stoic thought with the depth of spiritual presence and the tools of self-development, you create a life that is not only efficient, but fulfilling. It's not about chasing more. It's about becoming more of who you really are. Living with purpose doesn't require radical change. It starts with rituals. Try this. Morning check-in. Ask, what kind of energy do I want to bring today? Midday pause. Take 5 minutes to breathe and reconnect. Remember your values before reacting. Evening reflection. Ask, where did I live in alignment today? Where did I stray? These micro moments compound. They root you. They bring awareness. And slowly, they change your life. There's one more key piece we must mention. Service. All the wisdom you cultivate isn't just for you. It's meant to ripple out into others. The calm you embody becomes safety for those around you. The truth you speak gives others permission to do the same. The stillness you practice creates space for deeper connections. Your life becomes a light. And that is true purpose. Not a role or a title, but the impact of your presence. Here's the truth. You won't always feel purposeful. You'll forget. Get distracted. Drift. But that's okay, because purpose isn't a destination. It's a direction. It's a compass you can keep returning to. And every time you do, every time you choose intention over reaction, alignment over chaos, you rewire your life from the inside out. When wisdom merges, Stoic clarity, spiritual stillness, and self-development, something incredible happens. You don't just grow. You don't just heal. You transform. You begin to live as your truest self. Rooted, grounded, clear. Guided not by fear or ego, but by something deeper. And that truly is what it means to live with purpose. Chapter 6. The ongoing practice, making this a way of life. You've come a long way. From exploring limiting beliefs to reshaping your identity, cultivating stillness, aligning with purpose. Now you're standing at the edge of something even deeper. Because all the insight in the world means little if it's not lived. This final chapter is about how to turn these ideas into a way of being. Not a checklist, not a 30-day challenge, but a way of life that you return to day after day with patience and presence. One of the most powerful realizations you can have is this: growth is not linear. Healing isn't instant. And transformation is not a one-time event. It's a practice. Just like Stoic philosophers journaled every morning to reflect on their values, just like spiritual seekers return to silence, to breath, to prayer, you too can root your life in simple, daily alignment. Don't aim to be perfect. Aim to be present. Every single day becomes a new opportunity to reconnect to your values, your purpose, and your inner peace. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, said, "Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become." So, if you want to live a calm, purposeful, awakened life, you must design rituals that embody that identity. Here are 3 that can anchor your journey. 1. Daily reflection, 5 minutes. Ask yourself, did I live in alignment with who I want to be today? No shame. Just gentle awareness. Point 2. Weekly stillness, 10 to 15 minutes. Disconnect. Journal. Meditate. Create space to listen to your inner self again. Point 3. Monthly reset. Revisit your goals, values, and emotional state. What's serving you? What's not? These small moments protect you from drifting back into autopilot. They help rewire your brain not just for productivity but for purpose. A big trap in both self-development and spirituality is believing there's some final version of you waiting at the end. That once you fix enough, heal enough, meditate enough, you'll finally be complete. But the truth? You're already complete. You're just learning to return to yourself again and again. Let go of arrival. Embrace the practice. Some days you'll feel clear. Others confused. Sometimes you'll be focused. Other times overwhelmed. That's okay. The goal isn't perfection. It's consistency in the return. Whenever you feel lost, anxious, disconnected, come back to stillness. That place where thoughts slow down, where ego softens, where clarity returns. This is your anchor. A space within you that is untouched by the chaos of the world. Meditation, mindful breath, prayer, or even a slow walk in silence. Whatever brings you back to that still center, make it part of your life. because the world will always be noisy. But you don't have to live that way inside. As you live this way, present, grounded, aligned, you'll naturally start to affect those around you. You'll respond, not react. You'll inspire without trying. You'll radiate calm in a world addicted to urgency. And that's the beauty of the ongoing practice. It doesn't demand that you be loud or flawless. It invites you to simply live the truth, moment by moment. People will feel it. They'll notice. And without preaching or performing, you become a quiet example of what's possible. Here's something else to remember. You're not doing this in isolation. Right now, countless others are on the same path, trying to break free from limitation, trying to live with meaning, trying to be still in a loud world. Your practice connects you to something ancient and universal. The Stoics, the mystics, the seekers, you walk with them. And you walk with all of us. So let's summarize what it means to make this a way of life. Treat every day as a new beginning. Use rituals to return to your identity. Let go of perfection. Choose presence. Anchor yourself in stillness. Share your light, quietly, and above all, remember, your growth doesn't need to be loud to be real. Your evolution doesn't need an audience. Every time you choose awareness over distraction, love over fear, purpose over performance, you take one more step toward the truest version of yourself. This is the ongoing practice. This is the way of the awakened. Chapter 7. Final Reflections. Stillness is a superpower. As we close this episode, take a moment, breathe in, breathe out, feel your feet on the ground, and let yourself simply be. Because in a world that never stops moving, stillness has become one of the most radical acts of self-liberation. Stillness is not the absence of life. It's the presence of awareness. It's in stillness that you meet your true self, beneath the noise, beyond the performance, away from external expectations. Stillness doesn't fix everything, but it helps you remember that you're not broken. It gives you the power to respond rather than react, to choose rather than be controlled, to hear your intuition in a world of distractions. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions, than your own soul." That's the core of Stoicism. That's the core of presence. That's the core of this journey you've been on. Stillness is a superpower because it allows you to lead yourself when the world is uncertain. It helps you feel grounded when emotions try to sweep you away. It connects you to something deeper, call it wisdom, spirit, or simply peace. So as you go forward, remember, you don't need to rush. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to prove your worth. You just need to return, again and again, to that inner stillness where clarity lives. Let that be your compass. Let that be your reset. Let that be the most powerful habit you ever form. Because from stillness, you'll rise with strength. You'll act with intention. You'll lead with heart. Thank you for joining me in this episode. May this journey continue to unfold inside you in the quietest, most profound ways. And when the world gets loud again, and it will, remember, stillness is always waiting, and so is your power.